Crushed it.
That was pretty good.
Very good.
All right.
Crushed it. That's nice. Let's take a cruise down.
Let's do that.
Now,
it's a long ways, just so you know.
It is, so
okay.
That's why I'm cruisy. I got so many questions here right now, I'm gonna worry about it. I'm worried I can't even walk that far. That's what's worrying me. When I see you swing it, that is a power move, for sure. Talk to me a bit about your golf swing and a bit about it. I've seen it on social media and stuff, so how proud are you of it? What are you working on? Where's the power come from?
Well, I think I mean, ever since I started playing, I just swung as hard as I could, and not necessarily I was hitting it far when I was younger, but I was still swinging fast and trying to get it as far out there as possible. And I think with the years, I kind of grew a little bit, got some mass behind me, and I think I use the ground a lot in my swing, and I think that's where a lot of the speed comes from.
So let's touch on that. When we're amateurs or you're playing in pro-ams, how do you tell, or younger kids, how do you tell them to use the ground? What's the feeling that you try to use the ground? Because we heard it thrown out there a lot. Are there any triggers for you?
Well, to be honest with you, I think for me it's more of a like, it just happens. Like I don't really have to think that much about using the ground. But the one thing that I really like is especially when I come down, feeling like my left knee like kind of like opens up a little bit, and then I feel like that gets me more into the ground, and then like it allows me to like just swing freely.
Almost as well. Okay. So that would be a position of torque in the golf swing, right? So sometimes on the transition down, if there's anyone out there who wants this power move, you would sort of say, hey, get the transition and get the torque in there.
Yeah.
So talk about now sim. Sim is designed, shape in motion, to really turn on that speed. Are you seeing any speed or feeling any speed benefits?
Yeah, I am. I think when I first got here, I was playing the M5 and swinging it probably around 105, 106. And I'm hitting the sim now, and it's going 109. So that's three miles on swing speed. I don't know ball speed, but it's probably going to go
6 mile an hour ball speed.
Go up as well. And
it will. 6 miles.
I know the launch angles. There we go. Thank you. The launch angles is great. I mean, I like the ball flight. It's deep. It's staying up in the air very nicely. So I'm very happy with this new driver.
The other thing in your golf swing I notice, and it's well publicized now, you have this position at the top of strength with the face. Does that tie in to the rotation as well? Is that something you're even conscious of, or as an athlete, is it just a reaction for you?
I think, honestly, most of my swing is just pretty reactive.
Awesome.
I try not to think much about it. I'm not a technical player by any means. It just feels right, and try to do it as many times as possible. But I think that does allow me to just rotate and get after it, for sure.
So on that note, you hit it so far, you're going into greens with a lot of short irons as a result of that. You mentioned there you're a feel player. Do you always hit your short iron yardages with feel, or do you try and piece together a golf swing?
I probably have like a certain swing, let's say, I don't know, with my 58, like I know that half a swing is going to go 65 yards. And so like I kind of base out of that, and then from there it's just, okay, a full swing is probably going to go 85, and then from there I just kind of try to feel the kind of shot that I'm trying to hit.
So you have these positions that are like a clock face where you want, and then you work off.
And then I work off that, because then it's, let's say the half swing that goes 65, it's always with the same ball flight, and it's not necessarily the ball flight that I'll be using every single time. So I think that's where a lot of the feel comes in, and I'm just like, okay, I want this to land at 60, release a little bit more, so then the ball flight's going to be different. My technique's probably going to be very similar, but the feel and my thought behind the shot's not going to be the same. So I think that's where I just like to let the player go in and just do its thing, instead of being so technical and working it clockwise.
We've been walking down here for a while and we're just coming to your golf ball. I mean, I might have been back there 10, 15 yards and I give it a good clout and we're just here. I mean, that's some drive if we just take that in. On the LPGA Tour, driving, do you think distance and this advantage that I personally think you must have over the field, is it as crucial as it is to the PGA Tour?
I don't think it's as big of an advantage as it is on the PGA Tour. I think the setup that we have doesn't necessarily favor long hitters most of the time. There's a lot of courses that I can't even hit driver because either there's a bunker here that, of course, it's not in play for 99% of the field, but it is in play for me, or a weird dog leg or stuff like that. So I think in many ways, I kind of have to hold back. So I mean, if I'm playing and I hit driver 6, 7 times, I'm like, man, like this, I'm hitting a lot of drivers, you know?
Which is good for you.
Which, yeah. But I think I usually kind of have to hold back on my power. But of course, there's so many holes that I can just let it go and cut around a corner, or maybe get there in one on a par 4 or stuff like that. But I also think that maybe I'm not getting the power with my driver, but I'm also being able to hit a 4-iron off the tee, which of course is going to give me a lot more accuracy and still be able to have a shortish iron into play. So I think it is an advantage for sure, but I think it's just different than what we're used to on the PGA.
Got to use it in the right way. Well, I think any time that we can get this far up a fairway, it's got to feel good no matter what who you're playing against. Talk to us a little bit about, I've pulled you a 6-iron, so
that's perfect.
That's what you're going with.
Yes.
I mean, I caddy with one club. It's tough enough for me to walk this far. That's why I bring one club. But I see this shot. You tell me what you think here. Absolute center stripe of the fairway. I mean, that's beautiful. So what's your thought process and where do you go through it? Do you start at the bag with the caddy? Imagine I'm caddying for you here, and what's our conversation? So we know the yardage is around 180-ish. Got a 6-iron. So when I'm walking up to the ball, the first thing I like to look at is kind of the lie and how the ball's sitting. Yep. So here the ball's sitting fairly well. I think it's a pretty good lie. The ball's a little bit below my feet, so I know the tendency is going to be for it to drift a little bit to the right, which is good for that pin, which is perfect. Yeah, and I actually like to hit a little fade. Okay. So that'll favor that as well. So I'm probably looking, maybe aiming 10, 12 yards left of the pin, and try to help it work back to the right. So obviously I'm an amateur. I mean, I can play, but I'm an amateur. When I look at this, I see a bunker, which a lot of amateurs would see. Where in your mind, you know, if I then think about it a little bit more aggressively, I think if I go at the flag, I see short side right. Do you allow any negatives to come in the decision-making of the shot? Yeah, I think I'll probably won't look at the bunker, but I'll say the better misses on the left side. Okay. I know that if I wanted to be aggressive, then instead of aiming 10 yards left, I'll probably aim 5 yards left. But I'd still like to keep it on the fat side of the green, or where I have the easier up and down, because we are not going to hit perfect shots every time, right? Yeah. So I think for me, being left, even if it's not on the green, it's going to be a way easier up and down than being in the bunker, or even just over the bunker and on the right side. So as you've made your decision and the caddy steps away, as a player, just talk us through what you see visually and then what you feel pre-shot routine. Okay. Yeah, so I'll probably just make a couple rehearsal swings over here, practice swings, try to get a feel of the swing I want to do when I'm hitting the ball, which is probably going to be a little fade, so just trying to kind of come across it. And then I'll just kind of visualize where I want my ball to start, which is probably going to be, there's a very skinny tree there in the distance, just left of the pin. So at this point, the wind I can hear in the trees, it's picking up. At this point, is that coming into your mind? Or at this point, are you wanting your caddy to be like, I wouldn't have thought that wind was enough to change club selection, but if it gets to a point where it is, would you want me to step in as the caddy? Yeah, I mean, as a player, I'm also feeling the wind. So like, even if I'm not actively thinking about the wind, like I can, like you said, hear it picking up, and also like I feel it hitting me, like my shirt's moving and all that. So like I can start to gather some information without really like having to actively think. Using all the senses. But if
by all means, like if my caddy thinks like, hey, like this is too much club, this isn't enough, like he'll definitely
step in,
pull me off.
Okay.
I mean, there's been a lot of times where I'm literally about to start my swing and he's like, hey, like let's do this again because it's changed. And that's hard to do, especially when I'm like over the ball, like about to go,
the whole routine.
And he just he's like, okay, let's start again, because it's not going to be the club. Like, you can hit it perfect and it's not going to be what we need. So
cool.
I do like when he does that for me, for sure.
Well, let's see if we can get through this routine. I want to see the shot. I'm itching to see. You've described it so well, you've pictured it so well.
Go.
It's aggressive. Whoa, some golf shot. If I was caddying for you, I'd have been like, oh my, be the number, be the number. But I tell you, some golf shot. I mean, I almost feel we should walk up and putt that now and make sure you make birdie.
Make that birdie.
Different level. Awesome to walk it with you.
Thank you.
And
Appreciate it.
You keep playing like this and we're going to have no issues. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thanks for having me.